wanted to watch
So,
this.
Judge, what are your thoughts on this Zoom video court?
Oh, I think it's completely...
Because, like, I don't know. It could be cool. Could be fun. I like wavywebsurf. He's a good channel. But I want to watch this. And then we'll do some spooks. Is that a fair deal? I think that's a fair deal.
So, Judge, what are your thoughts on this Zoom video court?
Oh, I think it's completely ridiculous, and it's making a mockery out of the court system. I got folks calling in here drinking, smoking, carrying on and acting a fool in ways I've never seen in my 30-year career.
No, but for real, that is exactly what's going to happen if you have online courts. You're going to get people just... It's raining. You're going to have people just hanging out, doing whatever, because they're not in a specific environment that forces them to act a certain way. It's probably the same with workplaces, though I think that's more of a good thing, to be honest, because no one should have to suffer that indignity. It's not fair. It's very uncomfortable, and some people can't perform well in that environment.
The judge. And my court's getting worse every day because of these knuckleheads.
Today we'll be exploring the insanity that is Zoom court.
I know that guy.
I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I, wavywebsurf, your favorite fake online paralegal, there are many of us out there, will be taking you on a tour through
Paralegal?
some of the most hilariously unhinged Zoom court cases. It's $200 an hour, by the way.
The amount of
Oh, I need to change the
disrespect that
title.
I've encountered
I need to
since
change
this
the
Zoom
title.
court stuff, it really just blows my mind.
Kobe Harris, the driver's license dimwit. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to the most perpetually confused man in American history. A Michigan native whose driver's license status is truly one of the great mysteries of the universe. Active, suspended, or revoked? Not even he really knows. This dumbfounded driver parked into a lot of public controversy after a viral Zoom clip showcased him attending a virtual court hearing for driving without a license from the driver's seat of a moving vehicle.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. So just give me 1 second.
What do you mean you're pulling into your
right
doctor's
now.
office?
This stun-locked chauffeur here...
What do you mean by that? Why would you do that? You are currently not allowed to do that.
became something of a meme due to his slack-jawed
Oh my
expression
God.
and the sheer brazen stupidity
Right?
of what
That's
he
him.
did.
That's that
But
guy.
did he actually do anything wrong at all? See, in the aftermath of this clip, Budget Ben CeeLo Green here would claim the entire ordeal was just a big misunderstanding. And when the truth came out, we would be the ones looking like we just shit ourselves in traffic.
I've been assaulted. I've been followed. I've been laughed at. I've been ridiculed. I have been disrespected.
So what is the real story
drink
here?
just splashed in my
Well,
face.
let's back things up and start from the beginning.
I feel like I'm doing this
October
video a
of
disservice by doing
2023,
this.
44-year-old Michigan man Corey Harris was given a citation by a police officer in Washtenaw County after he was pulled over for having an expired license plate on the vehicle he was driving. Upon further inspection, the man was also found to have been driving without a valid license. Corey was expected to appear in front of court at a later date, and all things considered, it was said to have been a cordial, routine traffic stop. And after this
Okay.
run-in with the
That's
law,
better.
Corey Harris learned his lesson and never got behind the wheel of a vehicle without a license again.
Yes, I am.
No, that's not what happens at all. In fact, given what transpires next, it's very likely that Corey Harris started driving even more after getting pulled over. Several months
He doubled down. He was like, "No, how dare you? I'm gonna drive even more." But also, you live in America, so I don't necessarily know what you can do about that. If you live in America, you have to drive places. You can't stop. You can't go, "Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I guess I'll just stay home." It's not possible.
later, on May 15th of 2024, Corey Harris would attend his scheduled court hearing over virtual Zoom court. his hearing being presided over by Judge Cedric Simpson, a judge that has become somewhat famous here on YouTube, as his court actively live streams its
He's got a good
hearings.
mustache.
You
I like
don't
his
want to go
mustache.
down and see Mr. Fink? You don't want to do that? You want to try to overtalk me?
He looks like he's got a
Come
milk
down here
mustache.
And you're gonna have to show it.
Many viral Zoom court defendant disaster clips are made here live, and Corey Harris was about to become Judge Simpson's premier court jester. The hearing starts off routinely, with Simpson announcing the case and prosecuting and defending attorneys identifying themselves. But the moment Corey's Zoom feed loads into frame, any chance of this being a routine suspended license hearing went right out of the driver's side window. Corey answered the call for his suspended license hearing while he was fucking driving.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
The disrespect. Because I would imagine it's scheduled. I would imagine so. Where are you? He's just driving, just on his way. You didn't think that maybe that might be something you shouldn't be doing? Maybe you should stop? Maybe, just maybe you should just wait. I mean, you got a doctor's appointment. Maybe just make sure you don't got anything to do that day, and then you can just drive around as normal. Just throwing it out there. Maybe you should be a bit more considerate of your situation. Guess not.
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually.
You say that like they're not gonna have a
Just give me 1
problem.
second. I'm parking right now.
Okay. The judge is dumbfounded. This guy does not understand what he's seeing. He's like, "Are you sure? You're not supposed to be driving, man." I'm gonna sneeze.
You stationary?
I'm pulling in right now at this second. Yes, I am.
Bro says this in such a shit-eating way, like the judge is about to compliment him on his dedication to driver safety.
Yes, I am.
Alright.
Yes, he
I'm
is.
pulling into my doctor's office, actually.
Everyone in the courtroom is in total
He's
shock,
dumbfounded.
with Corey seeming completely oblivious as to why. I gotta give it to Judge Simpson here because I don't think I could contain myself. I'd be laughing my ass off at this buffoon, but he manages to keep it together.
Okay.
Barely.
So maybe I don't understand.
Bro cracked a
something.
smile. He was ready to bust a gut.
That is correct, Your Honor.
And he was just driving. And he didn't have
He
a
was
license.
just driving.
And it's at this moment that
No,
the
banned. Outta here.
relatively chatty Mr. Harris completely loses his grasp on the English language.
With the charges, Your Honor, yes.
No, I'm looking at his
Yes.
record. He doesn't have a license. He's suspended and he's just driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
He's like a deer in headlights.
Hello?
Hello?
1 minute, Mr. Harris.
Those of you in the medical crowd watching might just assume Corey Harris suffered an ischemic stroke, but rest assured this is simply the face of a stupid person slowly realizing they fucked up. As a result
He's like
of
Patrick Star. The gears finally turned in his brain, and he's like, "Oh no, it's a little late, bud. It's a little late."
his actions here, the moronic motorist was ordered by Judge Simpson to turn himself in by the end of the day, or a warrant would be issued for his arrest.
Defendant's bond is revoked in this matter. Defendant is to turn himself into the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. today. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond.
What did you think was happening?
This is a
Did you think they were gonna pat you on the back and they'd be like, "Oh well, at least you drove safely to your doctor's appointment"? No, you broke the law, dude. You did the one thing they specifically didn't want you to do.
face of pure regret. Though it took about 2 minutes and 7 seconds, the neurons in Mr. Harris's brain had finally pieced together what had happened and why the man on his phone screen was mad at him. He had been
Why
caught
the man on his
driving
phone screen?
by the judge.
Do you think there's a certain level of like psychological, like dissonance between like, oh, it's just a man on my phone screen, I'm just watching someone on Discord, versus like, if he was actually in the courthouse, he had to be in the courthouse. Do you think he would have, or would they have grilled him more, been like, how'd you get here? Did you drive? It's interesting, very fascinating. Oh my god! What do you think?
Shots like this that would soon go viral across the internet. Man with suspended license appears in virtual court while driving. It was the funny headline at the time. For about a week or so, you couldn't escape this guy's slack-jawed face and people commenting about the sheer idiocy of his actions and posts featuring it. As the internet
When was that?
laughing
Wait, when was that? I was looking at that. 2024?
about the sheer idiocy of his actions and posts featuring.
Did he say that? Was I
the
not
internet
listening?
was laughing at him, Corey Harris
Oops.
would turn himself into police. The man would spend 2 days in jail relating to the ordeal, and most thought this to be the end of the matter entirely. But oh no, our journey with Mr. Harris is about to take an absurd detour, an unsignaled left turn, if you will. Sometime after Corey Harris got out of jail, this entire situation was actually the government's fault, and he was being framed for a crime that he never committed. But like, how? We literally saw him in 4K shitting himself in front of the judge while driving that car, right? Well,
True.
Harris would later protest that the license suspension in question had actually been reversed back in 2022, and due to a clerical error, it was never updated in the system.
He thought the suspension that was tied to unpaid child support had been lifted 2 years ago. What was your reaction when he told you, so you have a suspended license?
I looked at him like, you gotta be joking, because all of this was supposed to have been taken care of already.
Court records show a judge ordered that suspension lifted in January 2022, but a spokesperson for the Secretary of State said they never received a clearance from the friend of the court.
Yeah, according to Harris, we were the idiots in this situation, and he was a legal genius prepared to take this matter to the Supreme Traffic Court. The lumpy litigant protested further.
The lumpy litigant?
Notified him that
That's out of line. That's fucked up. What is this? Oh,
he
okay.
was compelled to pay
Why
a
is that
license
there?
clearance fee in order for the reversal of his license suspension to be completed.
Because Harris did not pay the license clearance fee to their clerk's office.
Never told me a thing.
Oh, okay.
That's all they said.
You have to
was
get
that
him
they
dinner.
would be
Oh, I
sending me
understand.
some paperwork in the mail, and here it is,
Hit the bail.
2024, and I just received the paperwork that they were supposed to send me 2
Oh,
years
just started
ago.
streaming.
Friend of the court.
Right.
They never said you had to pay a fee or anything.
No.
So yeah, if what
No.
Corey has to say here is indeed true, it did appear as if the state dropped the ball. And many online would actually rally to the man's defense, now saying that he was actually the victim in this situation.
Well, now it turns out there's more to the story. It turns out that a judge actually ordered that the suspension of his license be lifted way back in January of 2022. Then for some reason, the Michigan Secretary of State's office just never received the news that the suspension was lifted. So according to Harris, he believed that he had every right to be behind the wheel, telling WXYZ.
They were supposed to have been lifted it two years ago, but they didn't. It's very embarrassing. And with the type of ties that I have with the church and the community, it's very embarrassing.
Right, but still, because he got caught in that Zoom, he ended up spending 2 nights in jail. And not only that, Harris claimed that the reason that he was driving, he wasn't just doing it for no reason. He said he was actually driving his wife to the doctor because her medical condition was worsening.
In addition to being
I see. I
embarrassed
mean, that
and
makes sense.
relentlessly mocked
That much
online,
makes sense.
Harris also claimed the arrest resulting from this apparent
But I don't think that still gives you the right to break the law, unfortunately. You're still going to get slapped with a fine or some sort of penalty for that.
clerical mix-up had caused him to be stalked and assaulted.
It has literally been.
Well, that's
a
fucked
year
up. They
old.
can't be doing him like that.
I've been assaulted. I've been followed. I've been laughed at. I've been ridiculed. I have been disrespected.
You know what, Corey? I think we were wrong about you, bud. You didn't deserve the government screwing you out of your license. After all, that judge unsuspended it back in 2022. You shouldn't have been arrested on Zoom for driving in the first place. This whole thing was just unfair. All the jokes that I've made about you in this video, I take them all back. I apologize. At least that's what I would say if Corey Harris wasn't a big fat liar.
And
What?
So I'm going to make sure that the record is very, very clear as to what this
Yo.
court knows and what this court acted on May 15th.
On June 5th, 2024, Harris would attend a scheduled court hearing related to the matter of his infamous Zoom arrest. Many were expecting the judge to issue some sort of apology on behalf of the state, or to exonerate Corey Harris of any driving-related infractions. However, what actually happened was Judge Simpson, in surgically precise fashion, exposing Mr. Corey Harris as a complete fraud, debunking his bogus story, and
You're fucking drawing. Is the audio okay, by the way? Is the audio like loud enough? Do I need to turn it up?
Unbelievable piece of information. Corey Harris never had his license suspended. In fact, Corey Harris never had received a driver's license in his entire life. And the prior suspension actually regarded his right to acquire a license in the
I am
first
as high
place.
as I can be.
He has never had a Michigan license, ever.
It's
And
about
has
as
never
loud
had
as
a
it can
license in
be,
the other
really.
49 states and commonwealths that form
Mostly.
up this great union. He has never had a license. In point of fact, when they suspended his license in Saginaw, they
Is that any
didn't
better?
suspend the license.
Not nice and
they
loud?
suspend the privilege to drive in this state.
Might sound a bit
Simpson
tinny.
continues by explaining that if Harris wanted to ever get his ability to receive his first driver's license, all he would
It
have
picks
to
up
do
everything.
is to pay a fee and take the test. But either out of sheer laziness, idiocy, or contempt, he had
It like
still
picks up
yet to do
actively
so.
everything.
Were unsuspended in 2022. That required Mr. Harris to do something. He didn't do it. Therefore, that friend of the court was under no obligation to send anything to the Secretary of State. Now, I hated that I had to look at all of this, but when there's a question as to what I did, I'm going to look at everything to make sure that what I did was all in order.
In addition to this, the judge would
That's
address
true.
an
That's pretty
excuse
true.
issued by Corey, where he stated he was unable to physically go to the Secretary of State's office to get a driver's license because he was bedridden for a time. Simpson points out during the time that Harris claimed he was bedridden, he actually went to that very office to renew his normal state ID.
Mr. Harris indicated that at some point he had been involved in some accident.
I hope we do. I hope we
And
do.
being involved into the accident, that he was basically bedridden, or at least housebound, he could not get to the Secretary of State. That's not true. Okay. He purposely stated that he could not get to the Secretary of State, which, for the way we handle things in this court, would have placed him in a whole different category. We would have tried to find a way. Let's figure it out. And the reason I know that is because Mr. Harris, on December 28th of 2023, do you know where you were?
No.
December 28th.
No, I don't know where I was.
2023.
I know I was laid up from my accident.
You were at the Secretary of State's office. And you were at the Secretary of State's office because you redid and got your new Michigan ID. I have the date.
That's crazy. He brought receipts. He got the key to the basement.
You did it.
The judge also elaborates that this piece of information is how he figured out Corey didn't have a license to begin with.
The way I know that he's never had a license is because May 3rd, 1990, he was 19.
He's never had a license.
May 3rd, 1999, he applied for his first Michigan ID. Council knows, so I do. You cannot have both. You either have an ID or you have a license. One of the two. He has religiously every year.
Why wouldn't you go for a license? A license also counts as ID, does it not? Am I missing that? Is that not how that works? That's how I use it.
Gotten a new ID. And so he knows.
It does
that
work
he
like
doesn't
that.
have a license.
So, why?
And quite frankly, I just wish
Why
he
wouldn't
would've
you solve
said
that
at
issue
the
ahead of
beginning.
time?
And all of this hoopla could have been just put all aside. And we all go through the process as we do with all of the people coming here to try to get him his license back. But his falsehoods,
Oh, that's what that
misstatements,
was.
are not going to fare him well in this court.
That's why I couldn't see my alerts.
done.
Whoops.
For now.
Standing almost as dumbfounded as he sat during the infamous Zoom call, Harris was shown no mercy, as his lies were completely exposed and his excuses diligently debunked. The defeated dope would slink and assume a sullen demeanor for the remainder of this reality check of a hearing. Those watching the live stream noticed something about
Trust me.
Corey as he was pouting. This fucking guy had the audacity to wear a t-shirt to court. But not only that, the shirt had the words "Trust me" on the front and had the
That t-shirt is crazy. What is wrong with you? Why would you wear that?
image of a hand with its fingers crossed on the back of it. Either this guy is actually clinically delayed or is one of the greatest deep cover trolls in history. Like, you cannot
He's
make this shit up. Simpson wasn't
elite rage baiting.
the only one in the courtroom that had smoke for Mr. Harris, as the prosecutors got a
seems
chance
so
to chime in as
trustworthy.
well, discussing with the court the matter of police body cam footage in which Harris is allegedly heard admitting to the officer that he did not have a valid driver's license, admitting this multiple times. This essentially eviscerating Corey's narrative, where he says he was under the impression that he had a valid license the entire time.
When I was at the police department yesterday, we watched the body cam footage.
What?
At least twice during this traffic stop, he acknowledged to the officer that he did not have a valid license. Quote, actually, I don't have a valid license.
And with that, Corey Harris, once believed to be the most confused man in American history, was now proven to be nothing more than a bumbling liar with a penchant for looking stupid no matter the venue. While driving on Zoom, lying to the public on television, throwing a pity party, and even while physically in court, this man somehow finds a way to make a laughingstock out of himself. After the hearing, Harris was ordered back into custody due to a standing bench warrant associated with another unrelated case for driving with a suspended license, which I will not be covering today. He would be bailed out shortly after by his wife. And with that, the saga that began with Corey's infamous Zoom court appearance finally had some closure. There is something of a positive ending to this story, as it does appear that Corey just may have learned his lesson. Harris's attorney, Dion Webster Cox, would later give an update on her client, stating that Corey was taking proper steps in getting a driver's learning permit, and that her office was helping him do so. On June 7, 2024, Corey Harris would celebrate publicly, revealing that he had finally gotten his learner's permit. And about a month later after that, on July 8th, 2024, Corey Harris, for the first time in his life, would receive a driver's license.
Finally,
on August
there
7th,
you go.
2024, Harris appeared
Took
in
you
court
long
once
enough.
again, but now that he had secured a driver's license, his charge would be downgraded from a misdemeanor, and the fines and costs associated with the charges were waived. In all seriousness, though, congratulations to Corey Harris. It took you a while, but you are now a functioning adult. I'll see you on the road, big guy.
I don't think I want to.
With this virtual Zoom stuff, people are just letting caution to the wind. Like, there's no decorum at all in the courtroom anymore. I've seen
like
some
these bits that he
absurd
does.
things
It's
over
very
the
funny.
last couple of years.
Hello, Your Honor.
Did you forget to flush the toilet again?
Fucking shut up! Get off my back, bitch!
Now, this is a serious... Boy, if you
Dude.
don't stop slurping that drink, this ain't your mama's house.
Excuse me, Mr. Judge, sir. You can order my balls in your mouth. You're going to be held in contempt of my dick.
Well, I don't have like a full license.
This is out
I
of
have
control.
a
He's threatening the
like I
court.
have like
Your
a
Honor,
learner's
with
permit,
respect,
but it's enough
if
for
pleasuring
what
a
I
man
want.
under a bridge
For now.
is a crime, then I'm guilty, okay? We used to live in a free society.
To me, it's just ridiculous.
Dantavirus.
Next is the case of Nathaniel Saxton. Next, we have a rather humorous blunder brought to court thanks to a defendant who logged into his hearing utilizing an extremely vulgar username one might find on a GameFAQs forum in 2005. This is the legend of Buttfucker3000.
Your name's
Come
not
again?
Buttfucker3000.
Meet
Oh my God.
37-year-old meth head and apparent anal sex expert Nathaniel Saxton.
Apparent.
Hailing from Three Rivers, Michigan, Saxton has a history of vagrancy and drug charges dating back to 2007, and in the 2010s, the guy had a couple of run-ins with the law, once for operating and maintaining a meth lab, and another time for possession
I think that was a
of
bit,
drug
but yeah.
paraphernalia. What brings us to the
You got a
butt
master
fucking,
something?
though, is that in the spring of 2021, Nathaniel Saxton was caught once again for drug paraphernalia after police had allegedly found a syringe possessing methamphetamine in his truck during a routine traffic stop. Because of this methed up run-in with the cops, Nathaniel was compelled to appear in front of a court at a later date. And with COVID going on, this hearing was going to be virtual. The hearing would be presided over by a St. Joseph County, Michigan judge, Jeffrey Middleton, who, like Judge Simpson mentioned earlier, is famous here on YouTube as his court often live streams its hearings. Middleton
luscious
is
head of
honestly
hair.
a legend, like nobody has more classic moments than him.
Is someone kayaking during their hearing?
What? How do you even do that?
Yeah, sorry.
Well,
Sorry,
glad
I'm
this
in the
was
middle
really
of
important to
fucking
you.
nature.
Anyhow, on
What? Sorry, yeah, I know I've got my court hearing, but I'm in the middle of the woods right now.
May 11th, 2021, the hearing would begin. Everything starting off pretty normal, with defendants filing into the Zoom call, each waiting for their turn with the judge.
Fire alarm.
While the smoke detector chirp going off is admittedly pretty funny, what happens next is so ridiculously absurd that it could be mistaken for like a pre-planned comedy sketch. While generally displaying very little emotion, Middleton is the kind of judge that gets extremely disgruntled when people disrespect court decorum. And you can kind of tell that he wasn't a fan of Zoom court as a whole, with defendants frequently calling in from home looking slovenly and disheveled. I'm sure he had some remarks about the defendants shown on screen that
New
he
chatter.
kept to himself. But when Nathaniel Saxton joined the virtual hearing, Middleton could no longer contain himself.
Then we'll bring this fool in.
It's just so ominous. It's so it's so ominous down here. You got all these people taking things seriously, and then there's just this guy.
Good morning, sir. What's your name?
What's your name, sir?
Me?
Yeah, you. Yes.
Yeah, you.
Nathaniel Saxton, sir.
Your name's not Buttfucker3000, you yo-ho. Logging
You
into
yo-ho.
my court with that
The
is your
pirate
screen
insult.
name.
What was that insult? Can we get a playback on that?
Your name's not Buttfucker3000, you yo-ho.
Yo-ho. Okay. Yarhar to you too.
And into my court with that is your screen name.
The entire call is in complete shock, including Nathaniel himself, who scrambles to come up with an explanation for
Oh
his
wait, no,
buttfucker.
that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
What kind of idiot logs into court like that? What's your
Oh,
name
my bad,
again?
my bad.
Nathaniel Saxton, sir, but I don't believe that I typed anything like that in.
Okay.
Well, that's what it says.
Why,
We'll
I
discuss that in
apologize.
a bit.
That should not
Yeah,
be.
you should. I'll put you in the waiting room. You can sit in limbo for a while and
you
think about
you can wait
what
in
you call
timeout.
yourself online.
Joseph Christ, I'm right there with you, buddy. I mean, it's hard not to laugh at something like this. I mean, how the fuck do you accidentally log into an official court portal with a username only fit for an edgy Discord group and not even realize it? Well, Nathaniel would be allowed back in to explain himself, and according to him, his sister was to blame.
Your Honor.
Oh, his sister was to
Yes.
blame.
If I
Is
may
she the
explain.
butt fucker here?
My sister was one that set up my Zoom account or whatever. That butt effer is my iPhone.
It's a whole family.
Name for my Bluetooth speaker. So
It's a whole family of butt
it's
fuckers.
an inside joke.
An inside joke. Well, yeah, the joke is inside, clearly.
I'm embarrassed. I'm sorry.
Yep, you heard that right. The classic sister setting up
Oh.
your Zoom account under the username buttfucker3000 because it's the name of our Bluetooth speaker prank. We've all fallen for this one. I'm sure if Middleton kept letting this guy talk, he'd reveal to the judge that their Wi-Fi name was PussyLicker69. This family is full of
Secrets Batman could not get out of me with fucking steel knuckle gloves.
jokesters, you know. 20 minutes later, the humiliated Saxton pled guilty to possession of drug paraphernalia and agreed to pay a $200 fine. Judge Middleton added that Buttfucker3000 was fortunate to have finished the hearing without a contempt of court charge. Our booty-blasting friend here and his embarrassing Zoom court mishap would go on to become a viral classic that is gonna haunt this guy for the rest of his days. Something else that continues to haunt our cheek-busting connoisseur here is his penchant for drugs. In February of 2022, Saxton was once again arrested in St. Joseph County, Michigan for drug-related crimes.
He scares me.
Saxton later pled guilty to 3 charges, 2 charges for possession of meth and 1 for possession of cocaine. The result of all of this was Buttfucker3000 being sentenced to 2 years of probation.
Wait, you know this story?
To end July 10th of 2025, according to court documents. Let's hope for Nathaniel's sake his sister doesn't have any more diabolical Bluetooth speaker pranks waiting in the wings, because prison is not the place you want to be with a nickname like that.
Hey, you'll need to attend 1 meeting on top of your current drug and alcohol recovery program to comply with the requirements of the agreement. And furthermore, sir, I can see you drinking the beer. I think the worst part about the Zoom court is when people at home, they feel more comfortable and they don't respect the judge. They don't respect my authority. When I have them in front of me, it's like I'm their daddy, scolding them over some skid marks in their underwear or something like that. And the court has reason to believe you've been using meth again.
I'm telling you right now, I didn't do goddamn shit. You know what? Fuck this shit. I'm
Sir,
fucking
you're
leaving out
content.
of here.
He's
Fuck your
content.
shit.
Somebody go
Fuck
pick him
you.
up. Send a
Fuck
policeman.
the court. Fuck
It's
you,
like gamer
Judge.
rage.
Most of the defendants that call into the virtual court just think it's a big joke, like they logging into a video game or something.
I mean, yeah, I imagine so. Like I said, the dissonance, like the psychological dissonance between seeing the courthouse on your screen versus being there and potentially getting arrested if you do something stupid.
I'm kind of in the middle of something.
These folks answer these Zoom calls like they're answering a call from their old mom and daddy. To me, it's just all ridiculous.
Now we move to the crazy Colombian judge case. When you think of a judge, the first thing that comes to mind is likely a stuffy, wrinkly-looking old guy who's a stickler for rules and decorum. While that might be the case here in the United States, apparently they do things a bit differently down in Colombia. Meet Vivian Polania of Cúcuta, Colombia. If you do a Google search of this woman, you might assume she's some sort of racy Instagram fitness model. Well, she is that, and she's also a court judge. And when she isn't receiving lap dances from male performers in after-hours courtroom parties, she's crashing out in virtual hearings, cigarette in hand. Judge Vivian Polania was first put on the radar of the greater internet after a video from Colombia leaked, showing her presiding over a virtual court case, either drugged out, drunk, or hung over from her bed. At least it seemed that way. But I think going into this video raw without foreplay is unfair to Vivian's legacy. So, this is Vivian, and these are some of her social media posts. Yes, she is a real judge, she went to law school, was a practicing attorney, and got her first judicial role in 2018. She would have been around 30 at the time.
That tattoo kind of slaps,
I don't exactly know
actually.
what the standards are for judges down in Colombia, and I'm currently unsure if I'm for or against someone like this becoming a judge. I think it just depends on what my gooning meter is at the time. But Vivian has a
Gooning
pretty
meter.
notorious history, and it all stems from her extracurricular activity. Stuff like the pictures we just analyzed. On
Gooned.
social media, Vivian garnered hundreds of thousands of followers and was branded the Hot Judge. She took deals with clothing companies and would promote lingerie and
Judge.
stuff of that nature to Instagram for extra cash, which would probably get you in trouble in the United States if you were
Might
a
get you in
judge,
trouble on
and
YouTube.
it
Stop
appears
showing
Vivian
that.
did get some officials hot down at the equator. Colombian officials reportedly warned Judge Polania multiple times for these thirst trap and lingerie promotion posts, but she seemed to care little. Vivian would eventually receive an official judicial warning in
I don't know.
2020
I don't know,
due
Pam.
to the
I don't know.
indecency involved with some of her social media
couldn't tell you.
activity, particularly the scantily clad photo shoots with her ass and tattoos on full display.
You two
Vivian
both
would
need to go
respond
in the
these
box.
warnings with contempt, stating
She
that
is
she was
jacked.
simply expressing
I wanna
herself
be
as
like
a,
that.
quote, braless and open-minded person. She continues, not all judges, lawyers,
Okay.
and other state employees are the same. What I wear and show on my social media is my decision, and I'm not going to change a thing. Personally, I feel this is the worst attitude you could have as a judge. Like, if I was a plaintiff or a defendant, I would want the judge that is like all the other judges, is a square and follows everything by the book, line for line, code for code. Not a judge that thinks there's some special snowflake and may or may not be posting hole on Maine. Maybe
Hole.
that's just me. With her attitude explained, it might come at no surprise to you that Vivian kinda sucked at her job. At least her job as a judge. And with
Yeah,
all of
I
that
imagine so.
titillating foreplay behind us, I'm going straight to doggy.
What's
on
that
this
supposed to
woman.
mean,
Cut to
huh?
the video. Not that video, I was just kind of making a euphemism. It's the video mentioned earlier, the one with Vivian crashing out while on a virtual Zoom court call. Allow me to explain. In November of 2020, a video from a virtual hearing presided over by Judge Vivian Polania leaked onto the internet. The hearing was to debate
Wake up.
whether the
Wake up.
defendant should be let out on bail for an alleged car bombing. Though the only thing looking
Car-
blown out in
okay.
this recording was the judge.
Gracias, doctor Marco, muy amable, doctor Harry.
Wearing nothing
Wake up.
but a top and underwear, puffing on a cig,
Wake up.
Vivian looked completely out of it. I mean, she's laid up in this call like she's putting on a show for some gooners in a Discord video chat. Many speculated the woman was drunk or on drugs or could have just perhaps been hungover. Whatever the case, the footage would be sent to a judicial ethics committee by concerned citizens. Upon initial review of the footage, officials likely thought they were being sent a clip from myfreecams.com, but were mortified to discover that it was actually Judge Vivian.
Okay.
Colombia's National Commission of Judicial Ethics weren't amused by her hot mess of a court appearance. And as a result of the sordid affair, she was put on a judicial suspension in November of 2022, which
Obviously.
was to last until February
I would
of
imagine
the
so,
next year.
obviously.
The commission responsible for issuing the suspension commented this regarding the half-naked, cigarette-puffing judge. It is a duty of this commission to avoid repeating the judge's contempt for the investiture of her position and the contempt she showed with her peers in the public prosecutor's office, the prosecution, and the defense. We find no justification for the judge to have presented herself in such deplorable conditions when she had the facilities of her own home and all the amenities necessary to prepare for
Spider-Man,
a public
stop
hearing
it. Your two lives are
and with
blending
the
into
respect
one.
such a hearing deserved. Vivian, on the other hand, said she in fact did have some justification for showing up to court looking like she was overdosing on Fent. The woman would attempt to defend herself, going on a press tour following her suspension, claiming that the reason for her slumped appearance and overall ratchetry showcased in the video was due to her having an anxiety attack during the proceedings. Quote, you never know when you're gonna
That's
have
not-
an anxiety attack.
That's not really a good. It's
She
not a good
also
excuse.
added that she had low blood pressure during the hearing. Guys, that's why she was smoking the cigarette. It was treatment for the blood pressure. She was like trying to raise it, bro. The
I
hypotensive
see.
House judge claimed in another interview that the reason for her anxiety attack stemmed from the criticism she received from the Judiciary Ethics Committee over the years. That criticism stemming from her own social media activity. Quote, if I did not change my way of being, they were going to open a disciplinary investigation, unquote. She claims this fear of scrutiny caused her anxiety to worsen over time.
She says it got so bad that she couldn't even get out of bed. And all of that is her explanation for what you're seeing in this video clip. Brutal hangover, anxiety attack, something else, who knows? That is her story as to why this happened. Vivian would abide by her suspension, and there would be no more virtual courtroom crash outs from her, thankfully. In an interview with the Colombian news media, she claimed that she got proper medication for her condition and was doing better on the anxiety front. There is one last interesting detail in the story of this crazy-ass Colombian judge, though. In September of 2023, Vivian would get in trouble again after throwing a stripper party at a Colombian courthouse, and she got a lap dance at this event. This debaucherous spectacle was put together by Vivian herself and took place after work hours. The National Judicial Disciplinary Commission saw the lap dance and immediately got jealous, ordering an investigation into all officials involved in Polonia's viral stripper video. Yeah, it kind of looks like Vivian is still learning her lessons and continues to cause embarrassment for herself and the rest of Colombia. Can somebody from Colombia please explain to me if this woman is like an outlier, or are all of your judges like this? Let me know down in the comments, because this is a crazy look and I just might move there.
We had one guy call into a Zoom hearing from the state hospital. Well, I've got some good news for you. I got a letter here from psychiatry that says you're ready to be released from the state hospital. They say you're normal again. Now, I'll be happy to give you your 5 years time served, and you'd be on your way. All you got to do is agree to the court that you'll get a job when you get out. Come to find out, that boy didn't want to leave the state hospital.
The crash out of Kobe Harris. Our next case on today's docket lacks little in dramatics. It's a bizarre series of hearings showcasing an unhinged man who was caught secretly attending a virtual court hearing from the house of the person that he victimized.
Yeah. Your Honor, me and Mary both don't want the no contact. I asked that that be dropped. I'm sorry I lied to you.
On February 9th, 2021, Kobe Harris of Sturgis, Michigan had gotten into a heated argument with his girlfriend, Mary
Isn't that
Lindsay.
the same guy we just talked
This
about?
argument ended with Kobe assaulting his girlfriend with a crowbar. Quite the serious infraction. As a result, the police were called and Kobe was promptly arrested, charged with assault and intent to commit bodily harm less than murder. Kobe Harris, no relation to Corey Harris from earlier, was later released on bond. And one of his bond conditions was that he was to have no contact with his girlfriend. You know, the woman he supposedly assaulted with a fucking crowbar. It appears Kobe had other plans in mind, though. On March 2nd, 2021, a virtual court hearing was conducted over Zoom. A hearing presided over by the same judge that brought us Buttfucker 3000, Judge Jeffrey Middleton. And let's just say Middleton's virtual courtroom was about to produce another classic.
Going to address the matter of People versus Kobe James Harris. Is that you, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. Both Kobe and Mary were in attendance in the virtual courtroom, presumably calling in from separate residences. But something was amiss. At some point before the actual hearing, the prosecutor, Deborah Davis, seen on screen here, was given a tip, which suggested that Kobe was in violation of his no contact order, alleging he was actually staying in the same house as his girlfriend, implying that he was literally at her house during this hearing but was just streaming himself from a different room or something. Absolutely insane if true. Deborah kept the tip to herself for a bit and waited to see how things would shake out, though. But given some of the body language on display, it soon became clear the tip was accurate, and Middleton seemed to agree with her suspicion.
Your Honor, I have reason to believe that the defendant is in the same apartment as the complaining witness right now, and I'm extremely scared for her safety. And the fact that she's looking off to the side and he's moving around, I want some confirmation that she is safe.
Miss Lindsay, where are you right now?
I'm at a house.
What's the address?
It's my house.
What's the address?
Yeah, what's the address? You didn't say the address.
Okay. Mr. Harris, where are you?
Your Honor.
In his mind, Kobe probably thought he was a genius at this moment. Using his lightning-fast wit and bulletproof alibi, he had successfully quelled the court's suspicion by saying a different address than the one his girlfriend said. A tactic so brilliant, I'd even go as far as to say this guy is a criminal mastermind. At least that's what I would say if court officials and attorneys were as mind-bogglingly stupid as you are, Kobe. What Kobe didn't plan for is the almost instantaneous check he would be placed into by the rather bishoply-looking judge.
All right, I want you to walk out to the front of the house. Show me the house number on the house.
I don't even think this phone has the charge for that, sir. I'm at like 2%.
I don't have the charge for that. What does that mean? Why are you receiving a call if you don't have the charge for it? That is the worst possible answer you could give.
The phone is at 2% defense. A bold gambit indeed, but the move is a blunder. As our metaphorical queen, attorney Deborah Davis, quickly moves in for the capture, revealing that cops were literally at Mary Lindsay's door. Mary lets them in,
Yeah, I hate him
come
more.
in to investigate, and checkmate, Kobe was caught.
The police are at Miss Lindsay's apartment right now, knocking on the door.
Me and Mary both don't want the no contact. I asked that that be dropped. I'm sorry I lied to you. I knew the cops were outside. I don't know why I lied.
Mr. Harris, my advice is don't say anything else. Take the cigarette out of your mouth. The hearing is
He dropped it,
adjourned.
actually.
Your bond is canceled.
After being exposed live in virtual court violating his no contact order, Kobe was immediately arrested and his prior bond was canceled. But this isn't the end of Kobe's abusive saga. Even from behind bars, Kobe continued to harass his girlfriend. Apparently, he had attempted to call Mary numerous times in between the dates of March 9th and March 12th of 2021. His truly unhinged nature would be put on display publicly once again in a later jailhouse hearing that he was compelled to attend, with Corey disparaging his attorney who was literally in the call with them.
Mr. Harris, if you could get the jail staff to unmute the microphone. Staff, could you help unmute the microphone?
Mic muted, mic muted.
Would you like an opportunity?
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
My attorney and represent myself.
Whoa, 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 Lucas Baker, you can't be hitting that pose.
I sent him a whole paper of questions to ask her and ask him.
You know what? Let's keep him muted. I don't care what he has to say.
To come see me before this court date. He hasn't. Paul Gibson's a dude, and he should not practice this profession because he's not doing anything.
All right, well, that went well.
On
Yeah,
August 6,
yeah, keep him muted.
2021, Kobe was sentenced to serve prison time, a minimum sentence of 1 year and 2
Do not
months
insult
with a
Sandman
maximum
like that.
sentence of 5 years depending on contingent factors. At some point, he was briefly released from prison, though he'd be rearrested again in January of 2024 for possession of methamphetamine. An interesting footnote from this arrest is a document submitted that contains personal information about the man. This document indicated Kobe Harris had the phrase "your
All that
name"
talk and nothing
tattooed
happened.
on his buttocks. Yeah, not only was Kobe a complete jackass, he was a fan of the movies as well.
I mean, I reckon I see some use case for it, considering that the COVID-19 might kill folk, but God bless, by now the disease is pretty much cleared up, and we're still having to use this crap. What sense does that make? It's just like work. People got lazy. They don't want to go into the office no more. They don't want to come into the courtroom. To me, it's just all ridiculous.
The
saves
doctor
gas
jump
prices.
scare incident. We've seen some absurd cases in today's exploration of Zoom court blunders and mishaps, but none are as immediately shocking as this one.
So, can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir. This man, fully equipped in scrubs and PPE, is Dr. Scott Douglas Green. And on February 25th, 2021, this medical practitioner thought it would be wise to join a Sacramento Superior Court hearing for a traffic ticket whilst in the middle of performing surgery.
So, unless I'm mistaken, I'm seeing a defendant that's in the middle of an operating room, appearing to be actively engaged in providing services to a patient. Is that correct, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
Or what should I say, Dr. Green?
We're going to go on a tangent, but I now have something else I want to show you after this.
For the welfare of a patient, if you're in the process of operating, that I would put on a trial, notwithstanding the fact that the officer's here today.
So I have another surgeon right
here. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it.
With me, so I can stand here and allow them to do the surgery also.
Not at all.
Dr. Green would apologize to the judge, and his hearing would be rescheduled for March 4th, 2021. But what you must keep in mind, like most of the other clips featured in today's clusterfuck of a video, this whole incident was recorded and broadcasted live. And before you knew it, people online were coming out of the woodwork claiming that Dr. Scott Green was negligent and engaging in medical malpractice and should be looked into. And I don't blame them. I mean, let's be honest, the optics here weren't great. The Medical Board of California made plans to investigate Dr. Green on whether there was a violation of a standard of care.
We'll watch that later.
There was online speculation that the patient being operated on could be suing for negligence or something like that. But were people getting ahead of themselves here? What did the doc himself have to say about all of this? Dr. Green would eventually talk to the media about what had happened a week later, giving extra context explaining his side of the story. Green laid it all out, saying he was performing a facelift and traffic court called him up on Zoom.
This was our last case. We were about halfway through it, through all the critical parts.
When he got the call from court, his assistant surgeon took over for him and would finish the procedure. So Green says he technically wasn't performing surgery when he answered the Zoom call. Dr. Green also defended himself by saying that it wasn't all too uncommon for surgeons to take calls in the operating room.
To me, taking a call in the OR is something that occurs all the time. Not a Zoom call to traffic court. I've never been to traffic court.
Because of how unhinged this clip looked, the doctor had to retain an attorney to navigate through the mess.
We've already sent a preemptive statement explaining there was no patient safety issue, there was no confidentiality problem. I fully expect and anticipate the board will not have a problem with this.
While the mass surgeon popping into the Zoom call may look insane to us, according to other medical professionals interviewed, taking calls and breaks in the middle of surgery is actually somewhat common.
But when you've got two fully qualified, fully trained plastic surgeons in the room, one could actually leave and go have a sandwich if he wanted to.
He wasn't doing that while operating. He was away from the table. At that point, he was just watching the fellow finishing the case.
Though Dr. Green did admit after receiving much criticism that the best thing to do in that situation would have been to step out of the operating room before answering.
In
Probably,
hindsight, honestly, that would have been the simplest thing to do.
Dr. Green never got any reprimand or trouble for this incident, and his legacy remains nothing more than a shocking footnote from the COVID era of Zoom court. Dr. Green is still a practicing surgeon in Sacramento, California, and if you need some work done, tell him Wavy sent you and you want the Bogdanov special.
One of the crazy cases we dealt with recently on the Zoom was a fella who was caught up in a civil rights case.
Your Honor, for the last time, I am a ginger, so I am a protected minority, okay? This is a hate crime!
Now that case went all the way up to the Supreme Court. By the time it was said and done with, that boy came out the other end a protected fella. They were calling him the Martin Luther King of ginger people.
The case of serial liar Saris Green. Court really has a way of showcasing the arrested development experienced by some of society's more stubborn and block-headed members. I mean, generally speaking, you kind of have to be on a constant path of fucking up to end up in a courtroom in the first place. Virtual court has allowed us a special glimpse into the hearings wherein these perpetual responsibility avoiders and degenerates are finally made to squirm in front of a judge because of their poor decision making. And some of these confrontations are equal parts dramatic as they are cerebral dissections of someone's ego. I'd like to now bring you to the case of Saris Green, a woman with a forehead tattoo who is seemingly allergic to following court orders and telling the truth. Her dishonesty directly resulting in her being arrested while attending court via Zoom.
Tell her the entire truth and let her know that we're here right now.
I just thought maybe I would, like, get in trouble.
The saga begins all the way back on August 23rd, 2022 in Greenwood County, Kansas, when 24-year-old Saris Green and her boyfriend at the time, Aaron Berg, were both arrested.
Berg?
Why? Well, because Saris's dumbass boyfriend was speeding. A police patroller caught him speeding, and when they tried to pull him over, the two got into a high-speed chase. This would-be Bonnie and Clyde duo would eventually get caught.
I
When
see.
Saris was detained and searched, police found a trinket on her. That trinket, of course, being a glass vial filled with meth. Oh, and they also reportedly found various paraphernalia like hollowed-out pens, syringes, rolling papers, and a glass pipe. She was facing up to 4 years in prison along with massive fines. On August 22nd, 2022, Saris's mother would bail her out of jail under the bond agreement that Saris would go back home to Alaska, where she was from, and stay there until all of this was resolved. So yeah, just hang out with your mom in Alaska, get your life back on track, and knock out these hearings virtually.
Alaska.
Piece of cake, right?
Isn't that the Homer Simpson strat? In the movie, they go to Alaska to try and restart their lives.
Came time for Saris to attend her first virtual court hearing on September 13th, she was nowhere to be found. The judge, irritated over the matter, would give the woman a second chance, scheduling another hearing for the following week. And Saris would actually attend this one, but let's just say it doesn't go well for her. It's excuse after excuse, lie after lie, and some alligator tears to boot. And let's be honest, nobody wants to attend a pity party thrown by a drug addict with a forehead tattoo. The hearing starts off routinely, but it's clear something is wrong. The judge and the sheriff in the call seem to have some suspicion that Saris is being untruthful about where she's actually at.
Okay, does Miss Green still have an outstanding warrant? Where are you, Miss Green?
Yes, she does, Your Honor.
Okay, where are you, Miss Green?
In Alaska.
Do you know you failed to come to court?
Yes, I do.
Why did you fail to come to court?
Well, honestly, I got mixed up on my days, and when I looked at when I was looking, I looked down on my phone and I saw that it was the 13th, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's the 13th, and it was hours has passed because I forgot about the time difference too.
Next, we get into what has likely been
Her
a
voice scares me.
routine practice by Saris throughout the majority of her life. One where she feigns emotion and remorse for making her mother's life a living hell.
Okay, so on August 22nd, you posted a $7,500 bond with us. Who's Cynthia?
That's my mom.
Okay, you just cost her $7,500 for not coming to court.
Whoa.
She's gonna have to lose that.
There's no way that,
And that was a cash bond, it looks like. With the paying party authorizing the money to be paid to the cost
So
of the case.
unprofessional. I don't like it.
Do you get the impression that maybe it was a big deal to forget court, Miss Green?
It might have been a big deal. It might have been.
Nobody in the hearing is fazed by this woman's tearful little tantrum. Rather, the law enforcement officer in this call, Greenwood County, Kansas Sheriff Cox, seemingly smelled blood in the water and initiated an attack, accusing the 24-year-old amphetamine enthusiast of lying about her current whereabouts, saying that she should prove herself by going to local police.
Under Sheriff Cox, does your office take a position on what to do about that warrant?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay.
I am fine with you and Miss Gillette lifting that warrant, but I would like to see a $50,000 OR bond.
Damn cat
where
got
she
bored.
turns herself into local law enforcement, and that way we know exactly where she is.
You're just like Mike from Breaking Bad.
I have information that she's actually in Pueblo, Colorado, not Alaska.
Pueblo?
Yes.
No.
A very convincing defense from Saris Green here, but not satisfied, the judge, who I've just now realized sounds a lot like Airsoft Fatty, asks this guy, seen in the background, to talk to the court and reveal where they're at. And well, let's just say the man here wasn't willing to walk the green mile for this girl.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Can you put your face in the camera, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that was on the video. I apologize for my ignorance.
Okay. All right. Your name is Dale Whitman, is that right?
That is incorrect. It's A.M.
A.M. And how are you connected or related to this young lady?
I'm a friend, and I specifically met her friend, Aaron, who was involved in the same case.
Okay. And where do you live?
I live in Green Mountain Falls, Colorado.
And you're at home right now?
I am.
Lying Saris just can't help herself, can she? Caught committing perjury in 4K, the woman defaults to what she knows best, pouting, crying, and making excuses in an effort to make the problem go away. Needless to say, it doesn't work.
Miss Green?
Oh, it's over.
You just lied to me. You realize you put me in a position where I can't trust anything you tell me now. So tell me why you lied. What was the point of that?
What was the point of that?
Because I forgot to tell the person I call into weekly that I decided to go back to Colorado.
Oh, you decided to go back to Colorado.
But I was thinking about, or my mom was going to get me a plane ticket back to Alaska.
Your mom doesn't happen to be there, does she?
Huh?
Does your mom happen to be in the house with you there?
Oh, no. But I can give you her information and stuff.
No, I've got some information on that bond that you're costing her. Well, I was ready to set aside your warrant.
Please, is there any way that you can just lift the warrant?
Well, I would have.
No, it's over for you. You're done now.
I'm sorry, I'm just really been stressed out. My uncle, who was like my best friend, just passed away while I was in jail.
There's now an uncle. There is now an uncle.
To Georgia is because he passed away.
Where were you going?
To Savannah, Georgia.
Weren't you going the wrong direction from Kansas?
I don't believe so.
So her "I skipped court to visit my dying uncle in Georgia" excuse fell flat on its face. Nobody in the
I
hearing
imagine it
was moved
would.
in the slightest. So with the truth of the matter out there, Saris is briefly dismissed and court goes into recess while they decide her fate. They resume the hearing in short time. And while live, it would become clear to all who are watching this live stream what her fate was.
Not a good idea.
I don't think you've ever told me yet why you actually lied and said you were in Alaska right now.
Just felt like it, I guess.
You want to try again?
Tell her the entire truth and let her know that we're here right now.
I just thought maybe I would like get in trouble because I hadn't told you guys that I went back to Colorado.
Okay.
And
well, yeah, you would get in trouble.
Whose voice was that I just heard?
That is Marshall.
Who's Marshall?
Marshall Goings.
Law enforcement is on.
All right. Are you there for her on her warrant, Marshall?
Yeah,
All right.
I am.
Take her away.
Again, why didn't you tell me you had a marshal there to take you into custody?
She's going in the hole.
I was getting to that. I was.
Right. Okay, well you're going with him now. Then we're gonna quit playing games and.
I wasn't trying to play games with you, miss, and I really apologize for lying to you in your court. It wasn't right.
I wasn't trying to, but I did anyway.
I'm just trying to do the right.
You've taken enough. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off there. You've taken enough time of the officer. How long's he been there?
Just like 5 minutes.
All right. Well, you go with him.
Just 5 minutes, and in the background's like, "Actually, I've been here for like the whole day." It's like, I can't trust what you say anymore.
You go with him. All right, thank you.
What's my bail at?
Well, he can tell you when he gets you down there and looks at your warrant. You better call your mom and tell her you cost her $7,500 on her bond.
God damn, $7,000.
It'll be in recess at this time.
Does anyone in chat want to give me that?
Thank you.
Does anyone in chat want to give me that money?
I'm so sorry, but. All right.
So she goes with Marshall to jail. She's such a fucking idiot, dude. This entire Zoom call being a perfect example of what happens to your life when you get a face tattoo and constantly lie about everything. In all seriousness,
does the face tattoo really matter?
Some of you guys watching
I wouldn't do it.
I'm being a bit too hard on this girl, but dude, it's just a continued spiral of refusing to take responsibility and excuses. When Saris got out of jail, she was scheduled a new hearing, and what do you know, she fails to attend that one and gets in trouble for the exact fucking same thing as last time. Coming up with excuses even more ridiculous than "I missed 'cause my dying uncle."
After I got out of jail, my laptop and my antibiotics and my phone got stolen and my purse. And so then I got really sick. I had to, it was pretty bad. And I had to go to the hospital and get antibiotics.
It does look a bit silly. It does look kind of strange.
Yeah.
So, like last time, Saris would have to go to jail, but she actually turned herself in this time instead of being dragged there by Marshall. I guess that's a step in the right direction for her character development, folks. Though, unfortunately for the court-skipping Saris, this time she was hit with a $100,000 bail, guaranteeing that she wouldn't be able to miss any more court hearings and would sit in jail until all of this was litigated.
I'm going to set your bond at $100,000. Now you and your attorney can talk, and if you do make that bond,
it's like a buff in a game. It's like if I just lie enough, they'll all stack on each other, and it will just overcome any amount of doubt that someone might have.
Will require an electronic monitoring device. And you're not, as a condition of your bond, allowed to leave the state of Kansas.
Finally, Saris Green would be made to face her original charges related to meth possession that got her into this mess in the first place. On April 21st, 2023, Judge Satterfield presiding over the case, Saris would plead no contest to the felony count of possession of methamphetamine. In June of 2023, she would be sentenced for her crime to serve 15 months, with most of this time being served as probation. In typical Saris fashion, she had some degenerate plan lined up for where she was going to go when she got out of jail, something the court had to know before releasing her. She said she'd be going with her boyfriend to Washington State, but because she wasn't a resident of that state, the judge wouldn't allow it, which brought upon a pout session from the girl that never learns.
But that's sort of the risk you run when you're involved in activities and drug use that results in a felony charge, someplace that you're not even from or familiar with. And so, I'm sorry.
I just thought it was part of my deal. It was part of my deal, from the very beginning.
And I don't think hanging out in a motel room at a Motel 6 in Eureka is, the answer for you just to be released without any...
Could I do it in Wichita?
About a year after her release, on July 26, 2024, Saris would be arrested in Greenwood County, Kansas, as a result of a probation violation. Later in August, she would be arrested again for possession of Suboxone, fentanyl, and drug paraphernalia, with a bond set at $12,500.
No way.
She would post bond in September of 2022.
For real?
And was later arraigned for these alleged crimes in March of 2025.
You can't tell by my face,
so
but I am so shocked.
Nearly 3 years after her initial debut on Zoom for the drug possession. Saris is the poster child for irresponsibility, a perpetual victim of circumstance. Her problems always the fault of others and never created by her own actions or behavior. At least that's her own self-image. Look, I've been pretty harsh to Saris in this chapter, but if I'm being real, I don't think it's too late for this girl, and hopefully her tumultuous trip through the court system serves as some kind of reality check, but we'll have to wait and see. Whatever the case, that was the story of Saris Green, the girl seemingly allergic of attending scheduled virtual court hearings and following basic instructions.
Now, one thing that I do like about this virtual hearing stuff is, well, whenever we have a fella that's already in jail, he no longer has to come into my courtroom to plead his case. Well, I mean, we got this one character that calls in asking about something almost every week. One of them sovereign citizens. What is it this time, Mr. Cage?
To the imposter masquerading as a so-called judge, I state here that I do not recognize your authority, nor do I consent to this corporate tribunal.
Reddit?
I will not
Reddit?
be a slave
Reddit?
in your maritime jurisdiction.
Okay, bye.
Attorney freaks out in virtual court. If you spend time on sites like X, Twitter, Instagram, you've probably seen a meme format like this. This is my lawyer, dog, I'm going to jail. Well, the subject of our next chapter is like the real-life version of this. Shamika O'Neal is infamous in the world of Zoom court for a crash-out she had during a hearing several years ago.
Your Honor, it's my motion at this time to withdraw from this case.
No, ma'am. That motion's denied.
Why?
The story begins on January 12th, 2021, during a virtual court session for Kentucky's 30th District Court, 4th Division. The defendant, Curtis Burns, who was in custody at the time, attended via Zoom alongside his attorney, the aforementioned Shamika O'Neal. Her voice can be heard during the call, but you can't actually see her. Honorable Judge Julie Kalin presided over the case. The purpose of this hearing was to approve a plea agreement in Curtis's criminal case. The agreement reportedly stated that Curtis would plead guilty to several of his charges, including mischief and assault, and in result, he would only get a 1-year suspended sentence, which involved him having to enroll into a drug treatment program, and then once finished, would spend 30 days in jail afterwards and would be out on probation when that was complete. However, apparently Curtis and his attorney weren't on the same page, as he was under the impression the 30 days of jail time wasn't a part of the deal at all. Confusion and a bit of ruckus begins brewing in the hearing as this subject is broached.
He's going to come back and serve the balance of the 60 days after he completes that inpatient treatment program. Whenever that is done, it could be longer than 6 months, but the understanding is he's going to come back and serve some additional days.
So I think we need to write that up as like a furlough, correct?
Ma'am, can I ask a question? Is my attorney
I can't.
Your Honor, that's what I would suggest, that it be written up as a furlough, yes.
She told me that was going to get put on the shelf. So
what?
I'll put rather than released, I'll just change it, defendant to be furloughed to the ARC program with a
Well, he's saying he did not. Sir, can you please pull your mask up? He's saying that he and Miss O'Neal did.
Can you please pull your mask up? I might get sick over the call.
I just want to reiterate.
Miss O'Neal, please do not interrupt me.
Chat, put your masks on. I don't want to get sick.
He's saying that they did not discuss that. So would you like some time to speak with your client, Miss O'Neal?
No, ma'am, I wouldn't. I would like to correct Kurt in saying that he is going not for substance abuse. It's for mental health treatment. He's bipolar schizophrenic, ma'am. So he says a lot of things. He agreed to this deal. He has it in his hand. So the question becomes, Kurt, do you want to take it or not? You're dealing with somebody that's not operating at full capacity, ma'am.
Okay,
So,
look,
yes,
it's
I've
an
spoken
addiction
with him.
recovery center. I assumed it was substance abuse treatment. If it's mental health treatment,
No,
that's
no,
fine.
he's got bipolar, undiagnosed bipolar schizophrenia. That's the reason for these offenses in the first place.
I think
Yes,
you
looks
might
like
have that,
Shamika,
actually.
along with being disrespectful, is also apparently a mental health professional who has deduced her client has undiagnosed bipolar and schizophrenia. And that's why they aren't on the same page.
He's got bipolar, undiagnosed bipolar schizophrenia.
Now, kudos to the judge here, because she quickly picks up that Curtis was feeling misrepresented and tries her best to reel Shamika in regarding this plea hearing. Ooh boy, does that piss her off, because when she gets just a smidge of pushback, the woman rage quits from the entire case.
That's fine, but what I'm saying is your client is saying he did not understand it that way. It's fine. It is fine that he has mental illness, but that doesn't mean that we can go through with a plea if he doesn't understand what he's agreeing to.
Man, I don't even have no records of me having mental illness. She just putting that diagnosis on me. I don't have no mental illness. I'm from Florida. I'm not even.
Your Honor,
You're from Florida, then you're definitely mentally ill.
Withdraw from this case.
No, ma'am, that motion's denied.
Why? Because he won't accept the plea, and he's going contrary. He won't accept the. Ma'am, I've been to the jail 5 times. He's flooding the toilets. He's causing disturbances. He's fighting.
Sounds like he's an asshole.
He's calling me 12 times a day.
Disparaging your client to this court.
Okay, well, the bottom line is, my advice to him, ma'am, is to take the deal. If he's not going to do that, then I'm withdrawing from this case. Ma'am, I've already been to the jail 5 times, Your Honor, to talk to him.
The withdrawal is denied.
Denied.
I don't appear again. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay, I would like to make a contempt motion to Ms. O'Neill. I will enter an order compelling her appearance in front of this court tomorrow.
I don't know. I actually couldn't tell you.
Everything to tomorrow morning, Judge?
Yes, sir.
Probably some form of ego or like power trip.
There is no excuse for an attorney to behave that way.
Yes, ma'am.
We will address this tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
And, your attorney will be lucky if she's not in there with you. So,
now, I'm willing to work out any way best that the prosecutor feels. I don't understand why she's going off like that, ma'am. You know what I mean? I'm not
I don't either, sir. It is unacceptable, and I promise you there will be consequences.
And the crash out from O'Neill continues. According to a report from WDRB News, Shamika would join the judge's virtual courtroom later in the day and brazenly state this: "Mark my words, if you take adverse action against me, you better be sure about it, because you made some mistakes here today. I will attempt to hold you civilly or however responsible that I can." And that's my word. It would be at this point where Judge Kalin removed Shamika O'Neill as Burns' attorney. The contempt hearing imposed Shamika O'Neill to pay a $500 fine and serve 90 days in jail, but she could avoid jail time by refraining from committing additional acts of contempt. During a phone interview, O'Neill stated that she would challenge the punishment and claimed the judge was rude and disrespectful, and said that she was fighting for her client's rights. Quote, "As for
Evidently
that fine,
not.
straight cash, homie. Bottom line, don't disrespect me and try to humiliate me in front of my client and other professionals. Then think I'm gonna sit here and take it whether you got on a robe or not. I'm a person just like her. I'm not her child, nor do I work for her. Get respect and I give respect. Period."
He's got bipolar, undiagnosed bipolar schizophrenia.
This is like the most unself-aware and ironic fucking statement that an attorney in her position could give. Don't humiliate me in front of my client. Girl, that went the other way. With a defender like this, why even have a fucking prosecutor? It's not necessary. This attitude is so childish. It was later confirmed that Shamika would pay the fine, and the video of the footage surrounding all of this would go viral. Comment sections around the internet having a field day with it. Quote, "He has undiagnosed schizophrenia," unquote. But if it's undiagnosed, then how can... Never mind. Sometimes you want a criminal lawyer, but get a criminal lawyer. Worst lawyer or best lawyer? She just took all the heat off of her client and put it on herself. Shamika would be reprimanded by the Kentucky Supreme Court, but it was for a totally different incident. At some point, she had been hired to represent a woman named Shalonda Moe in a racial discrimination claim against the Kentucky Department of Revenue. She was paid $1,900 for this, which included the filing fee for the case. However, according to the Bar Association, Shamika was accused of failing to serve the right people, filing the case in the wrong forum, and failing to respond to various motions to appear in court. As a result of this, in January of 2021, it was reported that the Kentucky Supreme Court had reprimanded Shamika O'Neal, filing a 5-count charge against her, ordering her to repay the client's
I don't know. I think people
and
just like
ghosting her in the case. And O'Neal would
sneak
later
in.
reportedly admit to violating these rules. After her 2022 court case had gone viral, multiple legal YouTubers reacted to the situation, pointing out what Shamika did wrong, and these guys had a lot to say about her conduct.
So then she says, I bet I don't appear again in this case. Not something you want to say to a judge. You do not want to push a judge's button, call their authority into question, and basically call their bluff and say, I bet you won't do anything about this. I bet I don't appear again on this case. That's what the lawyer says before hanging up the Zoom call. And again, it's very important that this is done during the quarantine and during Zoom, because you can't just walk out of a courtroom. The judge can literally say bailiff, which is an officer in the courtroom, grab that person right now and take him to jail.
First of all, she asked the judge to recuse her or remove her from the case. She wanted to withdraw her appearance. Now, once we enter into the case, we cannot just withdraw on our own. We have to have leave of the court in order to withdraw from the case. We can make a motion to withdraw, and we can state things like, I haven't been paid for my services in the motion. Usually it's a pretrial motion filed ahead of court. And in those cases, judges can deny it because they say, well, they don't have another attorney. So do you know of another attorney for them? Do they have a public defender? You can't just leave this person in the lurch unrepresented, right? So sometimes the judges won't release
learning
you.
how to do
Sometimes
things.
They will. You can file a motion to withdraw your appearance because your client already has another attorney. You cannot file a motion to withdraw your appearance because you have one recommendation for your client and your client wants to go the other way.
In one video uploaded to YouTube by Natalie Lawyer Chick, a practicing attorney, she would find prior information about Shamika, where she read out that Shamika was in fact a former prosecutor for Jefferson County, Kentucky, and resigned in 2013 after allegedly falsely assuring a judge that no recording of a 911 call existed, when in fact
Wait, is this a different one?
Call
I'm sorry,
did.
I'm so confused. What's
This
going on?
incident resulting in her being terminated. But anyways, pertaining to her actions when defending Curtis Brown on December 17th, the Inquiry Commission filed a 4-count charge alleging that O'Neal's conduct violated 4 rules of professional conduct. O'Neal admitted fault and suggested that this all occurred because she had not been taking her prescribed mood-stabilizing medications in the weeks that led up to the incident.
Well, that might have done it,
She also
but
said that she
let's
was
not be-
participating in anger management therapy to help with these outbursts.
Ah,
Finally, it
I
was
see, I
decided
see.
on August 24th of 2023 by the Kentucky Bar Association that 2 of the counts levied at her would be dismissed, and O'Neal should only be publicly reprimanded for her admitted violations and have to pay a cost of $919.82. This reprimand is on her permanent record.
He's got undiagnosed bipolar schizophrenia.
This judge just can't take this virtual stuff no more. Sharon, get my pump ready.
And with that, we've completed our exploration of some of the most unhinged Zoom court crash outs in history. I'll be leaving the invoice in your P.O. box. But in all seriousness, I want to thank the YouTubers that gave me cameos for this video. You guys are all goated, and I appreciate it. I also want to give a major shout out to the patrons. I appreciate you guys. Wavywebsurf out. Peace.